You know, I was talking to my neighbor, Margaret, the other day, wonderful woman, just turned 68, and she said something that really stuck with me. She said, I don't mind getting older, but why do I feel so tired all the time? It's like my energy just vanished overnight. Sound familiar? If you're over 60 and feel like your get up and go got up and went, you're not alone. So many of us assume it's just part of aging, but here's the thing, it's not that simple. Sure, our bodies change as we get older, but constant fatigue? That's not something you should just accept. There's a hidden reason so many seniors feel exhausted, and the good news? It's something you can actually do something about. In this video, we're going to uncover what's really zapping your energy and, more importantly, how you can start reclaiming it. Now, let me ask you this, have you ever had one of those days where even simple tasks, like making breakfast or watering the plants, feel like climbing a mountain? Maybe you chalk it up to a bad night's sleep or just one of those days. But then those days turn into weeks, and before you know it, you're adjusting your whole life around feeling tired. Here's what most people miss. Fatigue after 60 isn't just about aging. It's often a sign that something's off balance, something we can fix. And no, I'm not talking about some miracle pill or extreme diet. I'm talking about real, practical changes that fit right into your life. For example, did you know that something as simple as how you breathe could be draining your energy? Or that the foods you've always thought were healthy might actually be working against you? These are the kinds of things we'll explore together. But let's start with the biggest energy thief of all, one that's so common, most doctors don't even think to mention it. And once you understand it, so much of what you've been feeling will finally make sense. So, what is it? Well, imagine your body is like a car. Even the best engineered car won't run smoothly if it's low on oil or has a clogged fuel line, right? Same goes for us. The problem isn't always the engine, it's what's feeding it. And for seniors, that fuel line often gets sluggish because of one sneaky culprit: your mitochondria. Now, before you think, oh no, science talk, don't worry. I'll explain it in plain English. Mitochondria are tiny power plants inside your cells that turn food and oxygen into energy. When they're working well, you feel energized. But as we age, they slow down, and that's when fatigue creeps in. The good news? You can support your mitochondria. Simple things like moving your body in the right way, eating certain foods, and even adjusting your sleep routine can give them a boost. And when your mitochondria are happy, you'll notice the difference: more pep in your step, clearer thinking, and that feeling of vitality you thought was gone for good. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking, but I've tried eating better and walking more, and I still feel tired. And that's exactly why we need to dig deeper. Because while diet and exercise matter, there's another piece of the puzzle, one that's often overlooked. But let me tell you about my friend, Frank. Frank was always active, gardening, playing with his grandkids, you name it. Then, around 65, he started feeling worn out all the time. His doctor said his blood work was normal for his age, but Frank knew something wasn't right. Turns out, Frank's fatigue had a lot to do with something he'd stopped doing without even realizing it. Frank had always been a social guy: coffee with friends, weekly card games, even just chatting with neighbors over the fence. But after he lost his wife, he started staying home more. He didn't think much of it at first, but slowly, his energy levels dropped. He figured it was just grief or age, until his daughter pointed something out. "Dad," she said, "when was the last time you laughed so hard your sides hurt?" And that's when it hit him. He hadn't just lost his wife, he'd lost connection. Now, you might be wondering, what does laughing with friends have to do with feeling tired all the time? Well, more than you'd think. See, humans aren't meant to live in isolation, especially as we get older. Study after study shows that seniors who stay socially active have more energy, better mental clarity, and even stronger immune systems. But when we pull away, whether because of loss, mobility issues, or just the habit of staying home, our health pays the price. And here's why: loneliness doesn't just feel heavy, it physically drains you. It triggers stress hormones that wear down your mitochondria, those little energy factories we talked about earlier. It can disrupt your sleep, sour your mood, and yes, leave you feeling exhausted even if you didn't do anything all day. But here's the hopeful part: reconnecting doesn't have to mean big, overwhelming changes. Small steps count. Take Frank. His daughter started bringing her kids over every Sunday for board games. At first, Frank would tire easily, but something funny happened. The more those little ones made him laugh, the more energy he seemed to have during the week. He even joined a gardening club and found himself looking forward to Tuesday mornings again. Now, I'm not saying you need to sign up for a dozen activities. Maybe for you, it's calling an old friend during your afternoon tea. Or waving to the mail carrier instead of waiting for them to leave. Even petting a neighbor's dog can spark a quick chat that lifts your spirits. The key is to feed your joy, because joy is secretly a battery charger. But social energy is just one piece of the puzzle. There's another hidden energy drain that's even more common, and most of us don't realize we're doing it to ourselves every single day. It has to do with something you're probably holding right now. That's right, your posture. Now, I can hear some of you saying, posture? Really? That's what's making me tired. And I get it, it sounds too simple. But think about it: when you slump over a phone or sink into your favorite recliner, the one that just swallows you up, your lungs can't fully expand. That means less oxygen reaching your blood and your mitochondria. Less oxygen equals less energy. And it's not just about phones. Years of rounding our shoulders over desks, steering wheels, or even sinks full of dishes add up. Pretty soon, your body forgets how to stand tall without effort. But here's the good news: it can remember. Try this with me right now. Wherever you're sitting or standing, roll your shoulders up, back, and down like you're tucking them into your back pockets. Imagine a string gently pulling the crown of your head toward the ceiling. Take a deep breath in and out. Feels different, doesn't it? That's your body saying, thank you. Now, I know fixing posture isn't as easy as one little adjustment. That's why next we'll talk about my favorite no exercise required trick to reset your posture naturally, something you can do while watching TV or waiting for the kettle to boil. But before we get there, there's one more sneaky energy thief we need to talk about, and this one's in your kitchen. You know, I used to think I was eating pretty healthy: oatmeal for breakfast, a nice salad for lunch, maybe some chicken and veggies for dinner. But no matter what I did, by mid-afternoon, I'd hit this wall of fatigue. Sound familiar? Turns out, I was making one tiny mistake, a mistake most of us don't even realize we're making. And it was sabotaging my energy without me even knowing it. Here's the thing: as we get older, our bodies become less forgiving of blood sugar spikes and crashes. That healthy toast with jam in the morning? It might send your energy soaring, only to leave you dragging 2 hours later. But it's not about cutting out all carbs or jumping on some strict diet. It's about pairing your food smarter. Let me explain with a story. My friend Helen, sharp as a tack at 72, used to start her day with orange juice and a bagel. It's fruit and grains, she'd say. But by 11 a.m., she'd be yawning at her crossword puzzle. Then her granddaughter, a nutritionist, suggested one simple change: add protein and fat to every meal. So Helen started having her orange juice, but with a handful of almonds. That bagel? She'd top it with peanut butter instead of just cream cheese. And guess what? Her afternoon slumps vanished. Why? Because protein and fat slow down how fast sugar hits your bloodstream. No spike, no crash, just steady energy. Now, you don't need to overhaul your whole diet tonight. Try this: next time you have something sweet or starchy, whether it's fruit, bread, or even that occasional cookie. Pair it with a bit of cheese, some nuts, or a spoonful of yogurt. That's it. Small change, big difference. But food isn't the only kitchen culprit. There's something else lurking in many seniors' homes that zaps energy, and you might be drinking it every single day. I'll give you a hint: it's brown, steamy, and most of us think it's giving us energy when it's actually doing the opposite. Yep, coffee. Now, before you panic and throw your mug at the screen, hear me out. I'm not saying you need to give up your morning cup. But if you're drinking it after noon, you might be stealing energy from tomorrow. Here's why: coffee doesn't just wake you up, it delays fatigue. And that's a problem because caffeine can stay in your system for 10 hours. So that 3 p.m. pick-me-up? It could be why you're staring at the ceiling at midnight, and then reaching for more coffee the next day. It's a vicious cycle. The fix? Try moving your last cup to before 10 a.m. Or better yet, switch to decaf or herbal tea in the afternoon. You might be amazed at how much deeper you sleep, and how much more energy you have when you wake up. Now, I know changing habits isn't easy. That's why I want to share the one most powerful energy booster most seniors never try, not because it's hard, but because nobody thinks to connect it to fatigue. And the best part? You're already an expert at it. In fact, you've been doing it since you were a child. It's breathing. Not just the automatic in and out we do all day, but deep, intentional breaths. Most of us, especially after 60, start breathing shallowly without realizing it. And when your body doesn't get enough oxygen, everything suffers: your brain, your muscles, even your digestion. Try this with me right now. Put one hand on your belly. Breathe in slowly through your nose for 4 counts, hold for 2, then exhale through your mouth for 6 counts. Feel your belly rise and fall? That's how we're meant to breathe. Do this for just 2 minutes, 3 times a day, maybe after meals or during TV commercials, and you'll notice a difference. It's like giving your mitochondria a mini tune-up. But here's where it gets really interesting. There's one more hidden energy thief, one that's so obvious, we walk right past it every day. And once you spot it, you'll wonder how you ever missed it. Have you ever noticed how a sunny day just feels more energizing? It's not just in your head, it's science. And here's the surprising truth: one of the biggest reasons seniors feel tired all the time isn't just what they're eating, or how they're breathing. It's how much light they're not getting. Now, I know what you're thinking: I'm not a houseplant. Why would light make a difference? But hear me out. As we age, our eyes let in less natural light. That means even if you're sitting by a window, your body might not be getting the bright signal it needs to keep your energy rhythm strong. And here's where it gets fascinating: your body has an internal clock, your circadian rhythm, that runs on light. Morning light, especially, tells your brain, hey, it's time to be awake and alert. But if you spend most of your morning in dim light, like watching TV with the curtains closed, your body gets confused. It's like trying to start a car with a weak battery. Everything runs sluggish all day. The fix? It's simpler than you think. Try this tomorrow. Within 30 minutes of waking up, step outside for just 5 minutes. No sunglasses, no hat, let that natural light hit your eyes. If you can't get outside, sit by the brightest window in your house while you sip your coffee. My neighbor, Evelyn, started doing this after her doctor suggested it. At first, she laughed. 5 minutes? That's it? But within 3 days, she noticed she wasn't reaching for that extra afternoon nap anymore. Now, light alone won't solve everything, but it's like flipping a switch to tell your body, we're open for business today. But there's another kind of light we need just as much, and it's not something you can see. It's purpose. Studies show that seniors with a strong sense of purpose, whether it's caring for a pet, volunteering, teaching grandkids family recipes, or even tending a windowsill herb garden, have more energy than those who don't. Why? Because when your brain is engaged in something meaningful, it sends fuel to your entire system. You don't need some grand mission either. My friend Ray, at 78, found his energy skyrocketed when he started baking muffins for his building's maintenance crew every Friday. Turns out, he told me, I wasn't tired, I was just bored. So ask yourself, what's one tiny thing that makes me feel useful or joyful? Maybe it's organizing old photos to pass down, or calling a lonely relative every Tuesday. That's your energy booster, hiding in plain sight. Now, let's talk about the opposite of purpose, something that drains more senior energy than almost anything else. Worry. Not the kind that comes and goes, the low-grade, constant kind. The, did I turn off the stove, or, what if my pension doesn't stretch far enough, thoughts that play on loop. That kind of worry is like leaving your car's engine idling all night, it burns through your energy reserves without taking you anywhere. Here's a trick my mom taught me at 80, keep a worry notepad by your chair. When a nagging thought pops up, jot it down and tell yourself, I'll think about this at 4 p.m. Sounds too simple, but it works, because it trains your brain to stop treating every worry as an emergency. And finally, there's one last energy thief we need to talk about, one that's silent, painless, and affects nearly half of seniors over 65. It's dehydration. As we age, our thirst signals weaken. So by the time you feel thirsty, you're already dehydrated, and that means thicker blood, sluggish muscles, and foggy thinking. But drinking more water isn't the only solution, because let's be honest, running to the bathroom every hour isn't fun either. Try this instead, eat your water. Cucumbers, watermelon, berries, even oatmeal, they all count. And if plain water's unappealing, add a splash of juice or a slice of lemon. The goal isn't to force gallons down, just to keep your body's rivers flowing smoothly. Now, all these tips might feel like a lot, but here's the secret, you don't need to do them all at once. In fact, the real key to lasting energy is simpler than any single habit. It's something you already have, you just might not be using it the right way yet. I'll now show you exactly how to unlock it. You know what's funny about an old clock? Even the finest timepiece stops working if you don't wind it regularly. And friends, that's exactly what's happening to so many of us after 60, we forget we still need winding up. But here's the beautiful truth no one tells you, your body wants to feel alive. It's waiting for you to give it the right signals. And the most powerful signal of all? Movement. Now, before you groan and think, oh no, she's going to tell me to join a gym, relax. I'm talking about the kind of movement that doesn't feel like exercise. The stretches you do during commercials. The extra lap around the grocery store. Even just standing up every 30 minutes to touch your toes, or your knees, or wherever you comfortably reach. Here's why this matters so much, every time you move, you're squeezing little energy packets into your bloodstream, like pressing refresh on your entire system. My 84-year-old yoga teacher puts it perfectly, motion is the lotion for your ocean, meaning your fluid-filled joints and muscles crave gentle waves of movement to keep everything flowing. Try this right now, interlace your fingers and stretch your arms up toward the ceiling like you're trying to touch the sky. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, gently lean to one side. Feel that? That's your body saying, thank you. But movement alone isn't the full picture. There's one last ingredient, the simplest yet most overlooked energy booster of all. It's believing change is possible. I've seen it time and again, the seniors who transform their energy levels aren't necessarily the ones who make the biggest changes. They're the ones who decide they're not doomed to feel tired forever. Maybe they start with just one glass of water first thing in the morning. Or 5 minutes of sunlight. Or calling a friend during their usual slump time. Small steps. Big shifts. Because here's what I want you to remember, that fatigue you've been blaming on age? It's not your fault, but it is your opportunity. Your body at 60, 70, 80 plus is still packed with vitality, it just needs you to clear away what's blocking it. So here's my challenge to you today. Pick one thing from our time together that made you think, maybe I could try that. Just one. Do it for 3 days. Notice how you feel. Then, if you're up for it, come back here and tell us about it in the comments. I read every single one, and nothing makes me happier than hearing your victories. And if this video helped you see your energy in a new light, do me a favor, hit that like button, and subscribe if you haven't already. Because growing older doesn't have to mean growing weary, and together, we're proving that every single day. Now go enjoy that beautiful energy of yours, it's been there all along, just waiting for you to rediscover it. Here's to your health, your joy, and all the vibrant years ahead.